Your weekender just got better.
Right, so this is the Caister Soul Weekender 2019. We're celebrating 40 years, part two, because we had part one in May, which was absolutely brilliant. As you heard me mention earlier, it's an integral part of the team is to have the DJs that continue on pushing that music out there. This man here, Tony Matthews, QVRM, now you've been involved with Caister since the start.
Yeah, well, I came as a punter way back for the first 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then did what everyone else did, got married, divorced, had kids. I'm not sure in what order that was. And then kept friends with Brian, and then came back in 2000. And this is my 39th without missing one. So 39 cases over nearly 20 years.
You mentioned this before back in May when we was talking. What's the biggest memory? What memory, which is slightly different to it was my first Caister.
Yeah.
What memory for you away from the first Caister?
Right, I think what we call this thing of ours, the second tranche of Caisters from 2000 when I came back, the memories to me, and me and Pete Collins doing the anthem sets.
Yeah.
Used to be straight after the barbecue into the main room. And for a whole generation now of newer soul fans, that is their Caister. They remember that, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously for me, my Philly hour is a massive, so popular. I think if I change it, people will be knocking on my door. Why have you changed that one record?
What keeps you going? What keeps you dry? Because you've been involved with the soul scene for absolutely years and years and years. What keeps that drive going? Because I remember speaking to you many years ago. You said it's about keeping that momentum up.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a lot of the people who come to the events are friends. You know, and you see them quite often. They appreciate what you're doing, and I think that's really important. I think if you're not enjoying it, you shouldn't be doing it. You know, I'm still enjoying it. I've still got the hunger and the passion.
Have you still got the energy?
No. I think that's about harnessing and pacing yourself, really.
That's a good honest answer.
Yeah. I can't go out on the lash anymore and then turn up to do a set. You know, you've got to really. Particularly this weekend, I've got 3 sets today, and the last one's at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow!
So you've got to make sure you're eating properly, resting, and not going to caravan parties having shots and cocktails.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
No, I tend to have that when I get back to the van. But you've got to, I have to prep my sets in advance.
Yep.
Make sure I've got an understanding of who's on before me, what they've played. Making sure you don't duplicate it.
Yeah.
And still looking at the people, seeing what condition they're in, where they want to go.
Yeah.
So it's still fantastic. You still get that buzz at the greatest Soul Weekender.
So what if you had to choose out of one of your sets? What is it the anthems? Is it the Philly? What's the
personally?
Set
it's the Philly. It's the Philly set because you can tell the people flood into the room. You can feel the energy, and the emotion. There's a lot of emotion involved in that set. I invest a lot physically into it, and everyone really responds well. And I might try and video it tonight because it's so special. And even now, people who've been coming to me as you and I've been walking through saying, "Oh, see you at midnight," all this kind of stuff. So it's really good.
It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What part do you play? Now you mentioned about it's almost like a new generation of Caister.
Yeah.
What part do you play taking that forward?
I guess I'm a bit of a talent coach, talent spotter.
Yeah.
I kind of help Brian suggest potential new DJs who are fit into the tight-knit family we've got here. Because the DJs are a great team here. Everyone works together and supports each other. So you can't really just replace someone just with anybody. And why would you replace them when you've got such good DJs, So it's important. Brian and I discuss it. It's his train set, but, as one of the older statesmen here, he will consult me on it, but it's kind of, and also encouraging the newer DJs that are coming in, giving them a bit of advice, not about the music because they probably know more than me, but just about how it works here, how the team works.
Where do you see Caister going in the future? Because we're now grown from jazz, funk, soul, now into the house, the R&B, the new jack swing, the hip hop.
I think it's important to make sure we're representing all the genres of soul music, but still remember what it's about. It's the Caister Soul Weekender, and that should be at the core. So I think it's important to focus on that there is enough of that proper soul music played, some of the rare groove stuff in different rooms, and not all soulful house, hip hop, garage, all that kind of stuff. Although that's important because we're attracting the younger 40-year-olds, and that's their generation, where ours, 50s and 60s, is further back in the soul music.
I was going to say that actually, because looking at the recent case, there's now a churn of people coming through where they're younger, which is absolutely fantastic. But do you think they're going to lose that sort of feeling of the real soul music?
No, I think it's down to us then to introduce it to them. To say, look, we know you like your stuff. This is what our gig started. This is the music that was the foundation for our scene. And with all greatest respect to the earlier jazz funk mafia, the soul mafia, It's moved on now.
Yeah.
And there are different DJs who people will remember as being their mafia. Nowhere near the quality, but it's that kind of thing to them.
Yeah.
So the music they remember from those eras is important to them.
Fantastic.
So.
Tony, again, as always, have a brilliant
Thanks, Bully.
Caister. You've got some great sets coming up. We're all
looking
going to be
forward to it.
there as well. And of course, by the way, a new radio DJ as well.
Oh, come on, Purple Army.
There he is. So, well done, Tony.
Cheers, guys.
Your weekender just got better.